Tales from the Tavern was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Tales from the Tavern is my favorite stream on Twitch.
I'm about to die here, chat, because Shan is over here singing the intro music, and my mic is hot, and I'm like, I'm gonna die right now before the stream even happens. Welcome, everybody, to Tales from the Tavern. We are back. It has been a very interesting evening already, so I'm just gonna dive right in and let all of our guests introduce themselves, and then if you are joining us for the first time, I will tell you a little about how this stream works. So, Jeffrey, please, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah, before anything else happens, we just need to get in there quick. I'm Jeffrey. You can find me at Roll and Tell Pod on Twitter. I am one of two hosts of the actual play podcast, Roll and Tell. It's an actual play podcast with no game master, and we have decided to put ourselves through the chaos of letting the dice tell the story instead of preparing anything at all. So it's an actual play where literally anything can happen, and we have a lot of fun with that. Outside of that, I'm an actor, I'm a teacher, I'm a director, I'm a playwright, just doing artsy stuff all over the place.
I love it. I definitely, when I heard the concept of your show, I added it to my queue. So I'm like, great, now I've got something else lined up for, the next time I have spare time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, awesome. Well, thank you for coming on and joining. I'm very excited to have you. And, Jason, tell us about you.
Oh, thanks for letting me on the show again. My name's Jason C. If you know me from Discord, everywhere else you probably know me as Shadowmane, or hopefully you will soon. I write the blog shadowmane.com, all about TTRPGs, how to teach them and run them and blah blah blah. I write some columns for other places like Kobold Press blog, and I write and publish my own adventures for D&D, 5e, Cypher System, Numenera. I think that's about it right now.
That's all
I
of
have
them?
fun. So far. You can put out requests if you want anything else.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming back and hanging out tonight. I'm excited to have you again. Shan is also coming back, although last time he didn't turn his camera on. So, hi.
Hey.
Welcome back. Tell us about you.
Hi, my name is Shan. I do things. I've written for Pathfinder at least once that I'm allowed to announce. Starfinder at least once that I'm allowed to announce. And I'm here in the troll capacity for this show because there always has to be one. And I'm here to basically make Luna make that face every time I talk. So, if you wonderful people have any questions, make sure that they can make Luna make that exact face. Thank you.
Don't do it. Yeah, okay, thanks, Shan. All right, Tiffany.
Hey, I'm Tiffany. I am the DM for the actual play podcast called Dungeon Damsels. You can find me on Twitter at dungeon_damsels. I suppose I'll tell you this brief story of why I started the podcast. I also have written plays, and I wrote community plays and directed them. And then COVID hit, so I'm like, well, what am I going to do next? And so I thought, well, hey, I like Dungeons and Dragons, and it's basically storytelling with my friends. And so I took people that I knew and had acted with and had directed with before, and knew that they could basically tell a good story with me. And that's kind of how Dungeon Damsel was made. And then additionally, I still feel like Dungeons and Dragons is still kind of a boys' club. It's getting a lot better. And so I decided to make a campaign that was focused on an all-female cast, and at least the PCs. We do have one male player who's my husband, and I live with him, so I can't say, no, you can't be on the game in which you live in the house of. So I told him that he could play, he just had to be a female, and he said yes. And it's been a lot of fun. I've grown a lot as a DM. We've been playing since 2019, and we stream on Thursday nights at 7, which is a horrible idea because I conflict with Critical Role, but it's when we could do it. And so if you're looking for a long campaign, you can check us out. I'm also on Zeal Zaddy's Mist of Elixir campaign. We stream on Tuesdays. So I'm just seeping all of myself into all of the D&D land.
Yay for that. I definitely
it's
have
wonderful.
done the same, so I get it. I get it completely. When I first started this stream, I also was on Thursday nights, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm all set there.
Yeah. I wish we could do it a different night, but scheduling is the bane of D&D campaigns.
Right? Yeah. So true. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on this week. Looking forward to getting to chat. Sean, tell us a little about you.
Oh man, it's me.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. I'm Ashan, or I go by King Dapper Wombat or Dapper Wombat on our Instagram and our Twitter. I am the Dungeon Master and the showrunner of the new up-and-coming Tales of Adventure Agents of Boo. We are essentially a podcast. We are using not only a homebrew world, but a homebrew system that I made up. We basically take from level 0 to level 10, and the players follow a storyline as they are secret agents tasked by the Bureau of Occultic Observations to hunt monsters, kill wizards, and get loot. We have our episodes every Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Time. We are currently on our mid-season hiatus.
Awesome. Well, I love the sound of it. I love the fact that it's Agents of Boo, because that just makes me super happy. And I'm excited to have you on. And so welcome. And for those of you joining the stream for the first time, I am Gamer Mom Luna, and this is Tales from the Tavern. Basically, the way that the stream works is all of our questions come from chat. So if you have a question that you would like to ask the panel, please feel free to drop that in chat. We have moderators who will make sure that the questions make it to us so that we can talk about it on stream. If you are someone who's been hanging around for a while and you've got some channel points racked up, we also have the Ask My Question Next for 1,000 channel points. You can have your question bumped up to the next one in the queue. So that way, if you're like, oh my God, there's like 7 questions and I need to ask mine before the end of the show, you can use that feature and it will be the very next question that we talk about. So that is available for you as well. Couple of things I want to shout out before we dive in. First of all, my buddy Tommy, Matt, for anybody who is familiar with him, is doing a project where he's going to be working with his local Boys and Girls Club to start up D&D miniature painting at a couple of the schools in his area. So he is currently looking for supplies. And so if anybody is interested in donating for that, whether financially or actually has supplies that they would like to send, please reach out to him. You can find him at MADTH333 at Twitter. I told him that I would love to shout out that project because I think it's really exciting. And all kinds of good stuff. So, I just wanted to make sure I got to say that. So, I'm going to start off the questions with my personal favorite, because anybody who knows me knows that I have a dice addiction, just a mild one. I definitely did not buy myself 3 sets of dice at PAX this weekend. I would like to know, if you're playing at a physical table with actual dice, do your dice have to match?
For me, no. I just like all colors. I do have separate sets. Because I have like a set for like at home and then a set for like traveling when I go to someone else's place. But something that I've heard other people do is they'll take bits and pieces from other sets and then create like a set based off of the character they have.
Yeah,
But generally, I'm just like bag, and then whatever comes out is what I roll with.
Yeah, no, I think I'm also kind of the same way. I do like them because they are pretty when they are together as a set. But I always kind of like mixing and matching the colors to be like I can make my own custom sets. Now, mind you, that doesn't work sometimes. I have a giant Goliath-sized die set, so the D20 is probably about as big as a golf ball. Or I have like the metal set or like a brass set. But it's fun to like look at all the pretty colors.
Aside from one set I have that has sentimental value and is never separated or used, I don't really care. Although, that said, I'm a forever GM. I almost never roll anything but D20s. I don't need my whole set because I use static damage a lot. But it means all I'm ever rolling is initiative into hit rolls, at least for 5e.
Well, I guess I'm gonna break the pattern. I'm super persnickety.
Hey, I like
Breaking the mold, we're here for it.
Yeah, they all have to match. They gotta look nice and pretty in a little row.
Thank you.
I see we're on the same page.
I mean, you're wrong, but continue.
Yeah, I mean, like in particular, my favorite dice are a set of green agate stone dice, and if I can just have those pretty ones on the table and roll those all together, I'm a happy man.
I don't blame you. Anybody who has watched the stream more than once knows that all of my dice, they don't mix, they don't touch, they're not even stored in the same containers. They're all separate in their own container. I can tell you which set is in which container without even looking inside it. It's terrible. And it's literally the only thing in my entire life that I am like that with. It's awful. Like, I'm like, there's a blue set in here that came from a Kickstarter that I backed, and it's blue with white numbers on it. They came from Die Hard Dice, and this is what they look like. So it's like,
oh, pretty.
Yeah, they are really pretty. That's why I love them. I actually have a matching set of D6s that go with them. But yeah, like all of them. I have. Oh God. I don't want to tell you how many sets within arm's reach right now. Too many. And most of them I can't even see because they are all in. That looks painful. I don't.
That looks cool. I mean, don't step on that for sure, but.
Yeah.
This is my DM set. It is the one set of dice that stay together always. And it is the set of dice that are rolled most often to try to annihilate my players when I'm feeling particularly vindictive.
The revenge dice.
Right?
Yeah, basically when I've been
Pulling out
rolling
the big
twos
guns.
when I've been rolling 2s and 4s all night to try to do literally anything in game, and suddenly they're like, "Well, things are easy," and I'm like, "Oh, really? Give me a minute." And they're like, "Oh no, Shan, please!" And I'm like, "We talk crap. Here we go." And
you're like, "I bet."
Please do not roll anything like these on a table without some sort of covering, or you will ruin your table. Ask me how I know.
I'm pretty sure we don't need to ask. I do have a couple sets of metal dice. I don't typically use them, but when I do, I just roll them on my mouse pad because my mouse pad is super cute. One of my friends got it for me. It has a little red dragon on it. It says, "This is how I roll." It's standing on a dice hoard. So, yeah.
It's not hoarding if it's dice.
Well, right.
Is what a dragon would say.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm not sure.
Oh man, a dragon playing Dungeons and Dragons within a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Don't dragons play papers and paychecks? I don't know. I'm asking.
Dorks.
But you love us.
Now let me ask you this: for the people who keep their dice separated, do you also have particular, like how Shan was saying? Do you have particular dice that you use for particular occasions? Like if you need to make a death saving throw, just a regular saving throw, an ability check, a specific like character ability?
I felt exposed by that question.
That's a yes. That's a strong yes.
I don't.
That's a strong yes.
I don't have a set like specifically, but I am the one that like, oh, okay, the D20 from this set is rolling badly. The whole set goes in timeout, and a whole new set comes out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a deep red, like kind of sanguine red dice that is strictly for damage because it always does me good. But like, yeah, there's the panic dice if everything's going bad. Like, this is one I need to grab. It's been saving up some good juju.
I love it.
I used to my ex-husband he was the person who would keep all of his dice like in one big box together. I may have been known to hide a set of his dice because they always rolled well, and he was the DM at the time, and I was like, yeah, no, we're gonna get rid of those.
I was like, where'd my dice go? I was like, I don't know.
No,
Like,
it's the weirdest thing. We have a 2-year-old. Maybe you should check the playroom.
Maybe they were there just
sit
for
under the
Cease to
couch,
throw the
huh?
dice out the window.
Did you check maybe like the dog ate them? I don't know. It's
They're just gone.
yeah.
Yeah,
Weird.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to jump on to the next question. Wolf's Blood used an Ask My Question next, and I warned you all about this particular situation in the green room before the stream. Wolf's Blood would like to know, question for everyone, but particularly Shan. If you have to feature arm-length latex gloves in your campaign or with your character, how would you do it?
Well, primarily for birthing cattle. If one is going to feature the arm-length latex gloves, what you are going to do is have a part of the campaign where your heroes make some sort of nature or animal handling check. Yeah, to help a sweet baby calf come into this world, and then or a sweet baby kitten. You help a sweet baby kitten come into the world, and then you pet them lovingly, and you do nothing else with those gloves, Wolf. Nothing else.
Let's see. I would, since they're like sleeve length gloves, I would actually kind of roll into like maybe there's an NPC that is like a big germaphobe and like just doesn't want to touch anything, and that's kind of how I'd roll with it, is try to like have a reason for why they're really there. But I honestly like the like veterinarian approach. I mean, it makes sense, and you can have a lot of RP moments like delivering a sweet baby calf.
Starry Night in chat says, any glove longer than wrists is an automatic princess to me.
Princess veterinarian. I mean,
Yeah. The princess of the veterinarian kingdom, I guess.
Why not?
Does
They're-
the latex change anything about that?
I guess it depends on who you ask.
I was going to say, maybe the princess is allergic to cotton. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, maybe she's allergic to like something and needs to protect her skin. Like we can have practical reasons for the gloves.
Yeah, plus we're
health-conscious.
also basing under the assumption that they're mundane latex gloves. They could be magical latex gloves.
Yeah.
Now we're on to something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like you have latex gloves, but they basically just have like prestidigitation weaved, like the symbols for prestidigitation either weaved into somewhere, like in the little like patch to make sure somebody knows that they're theirs. Boom! Anytime you want, you just cast prestidigitation. That way, you always keep your sanitized gloves.
Yeah, it'd be good for things like surgery.
Yeah.
Starry Night says latex gloves of flying. They carry you like a flying carpet, but by your hands.
That sounds.
I mean,
I love
also
that.
fun. Also fun.
That sounds kind of. Oh man, I feel like that sounds terrifying. Because man, that's a lot of pressure on your shoulders.
Yeah, that's a little weight on the shoulders. You have to do like strength checks to just keep your shoulders
Yeah, 'cause you just, like,
You cannot fall to your death as you
Yeah.
release your grip and just
Pretty much.
and not just be like yanked out of them. Yeah.
I actually want to make sure everyone else has had a reasonable chance to answer this question, and then I'm going to give Mr. Wolfblood a taste of their own medicine.
Should I take my headphones off for this? Do I want to know what's coming?
No.
One of my current campaigns actually features an NPC who, like an alien race, who has glowing green arms from the elbows up. Coincidentally, so theoretically, he could use them to disguise himself. Although the disguise would be a little more terrifying than the actuality, I think. I'd rather see the glowing green arms than the latex rubber gloves.
I mean, like, practically, they've got to be pretty good for a barbarian who's going to do a pretty bloody job, right?
Yeah. I didn't think of that. A hitman. Like, they just get in there.
Hitman, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
Get in
fixer,
there.
a cleaner.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
get
yeah,
in there
fixer.
after the party's there, clean up the dungeon.
Yeah.
Cleanup crew. There you go.
Oh man, that's a dungeon cleanup crew.
Isn't that what a gelatinous cube is for?
Oh,
So is
that's
it? I
not
guess it's a
okay.
gelatinous.
Just send them in.
Yeah, let's just send them in.
I had
Gelatinous-
someone legitimately call it a dungeon Roomba one week.
I mean, they're not wrong. They're
Yeah.
really not. It's just a big old dungeon Roomba.
So, hey,
Stingers,
Wolfblood and Luna, y'all used to play 3.5, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there is this book called the Book of,
Ero-
Erotic
Oh, yep.
Fantasy,
Yeah!
where one could use a set of clothes.
There they go.
There it is. There it is. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I love you, Wolfblood. That was like the perfect question to start off the night with. Good.
Dear God, I hate you all.
I told you you're stuck with me.
Ah. Amazing, amazing. Okay, we're gonna go to the next question, which is also equally as fun, I think. Jim from the Dimpire would like to know, what is your favorite character's snack of choice? Eatabricks is a secret candy fiend.
Man,
Are we talking about like the PCs we play, or NPCs, or in general?
Just
Or
favorite, yeah. NPC, PC, whichever.
Man, I didn't realize this was a test I had to study for because
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Usually we get this question around Halloween, so...
we played a game of Stew Pot a while back, where it's a game in which there's no game master. It's a lot of retired adventurers opening a tavern.
as you do.
it's cute.
And
Yeah.
one of our players, actually, who's the co-host of my show, he was playing the chef, and he invented a dish. And I'm sure he's gonna come at me because I'm gonna say it wrong, but it was, I think, like purple catnip potato soup.
Delicious.
Hey!
Okay.
And the key to this was none of those ingredients are in that dish.
As you do.
That's what
And that
is.
was
The
that
whole
was my
color
retired
purple.
barbarian. Yeah, that was my retired barbarian's favorite meal. It was his meal of choice.
Let me see. I would think because I haven't played a. I think for one of my NPCs, I think he would definitely eat something basic. So it'd have to be a mix between like a vanilla chew and like a caramel soft candy.
Ooh.
I think that's the. I could definitely see him just like doing paperwork late at night and just kind of like going into his bowl and mindlessly just kind of popping one in his mouth.
I picture like those vanilla flavored Tootsie Rolls.
Yes, that's exactly what I would. But like getting a it could be like a vanilla and caramel salt. I know it is vanilla and caramel salt water taffy.
Oh,
Ooh,
there you go.
Yes.
Okay,
I would
that
say
sounds
yes to
baller.
that.
Yeah.
It does sound
Oh man,
good.
saltwater taffy is
The best.
chef's kiss.
So good.
Underrated.
Love it.
Let's see, I have one PC who's a warlock, and her favorite food are strawberries because in classic D&D, terrible parents who neglected her, and so she was like this little street rat on Pirate Island, and there were wild strawberries, so she would eat the wild strawberries with her little brother, and that's why she likes strawberries, because it's like the one part of her childhood that was actually kind of nice. And
Oh,
Oh,
I see.
yeah.
the feels.
Right?
yeah. I was like, I got sad now.
I did
I took
not
emotional.
bring my permission slip for this fields trip. Thank you.
Miss
It's okay,
she's.
She's doing better now.
Oh, that's good. As long as she's doing.
Oh, well,
She's
good.
doing better now.
Character growth. We're here for it.
Yeah.
There was a character in my last campaign last year that he's a kobold, but he ate nothing but raw fish. So whenever they went to a tavern, they had to stop the cook. So before they did the evil cooking, a little Gollum-like, but it worked.
Like guts and all, or like sashimi style.
Hey, I wasn't asking. I was-
Fair
Okay.
enough.
He
I was gonna
brings you
say
a-
that's fair.
He brings you a fish, and now we'll take a 3-minute break.
I just imagine that like cartoon cat sticks the fish in his mouth and then pulls out like
Yeah.
a
Pulls out
fish
the
bone.
hormones. Yeah.
It's Tom and Jerry.
Pretty much.
I think everybody else got the answer, right? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't want to step on anybody. My character Rupert was a crime lord in New York. So, like most New Yorkers, his favorite breakfast is bacon, egg, and cheese from the local bodega. And you go in and you get it with butter toasted on the roll. And then you get the bacon, egg, and cheese, usually with 2 eggs at least. If you try to skip me on eggs, he'd probably shoot you in the face. And, nice, because at most, places, especially bodegas, most of the people are Muslim. So instead of pork bacon, they would generally use either turkey bacon or beef bacon. Oh, best food in the world. If you ever get a chance to go to New York, yeah, go to a bodega. You'll believe me. You'll find one, and order a bacon, egg, and cheese. And if they're still doing breakfast, because some places stop breakfast at a certain time, you'll be like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest food ever." Thank you, Shane.
I also gotta make sure if I do run a bodega, not to mess up any mob boss's order. Then is that what you tell me? I gotta look out for mob bosses.
Basically, yeah. Rupert
Okay,
was,
cool. I just wanted to make
was
sure that we're
that
on the
type.
same page here.
I think I answered the question for Edabrix, but I think if I had to pick something for Claudia, it probably would be steak and eggs.
Oh,
Worthy.
steak.
Oh, I still haven't ordered food, right? I'm starving.
Well, that sounds more like a you problem. You should like,
Right?
really get on that. Bud.
I thought you were on that
We're just
Sunday,
telling
though.
you what to order now.
Yeah. Oh man,
Wait,
steak
wait,
and
wait.
eggs with some hash
Well, I
browns.
should also throw out the fact that Claudia was a werewolf,
Oh, okay.
Ah,
Now you gotta get that protein.
right? I mean,
So like raw steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Like the whole egg.
Oh, okay. So she's in that bodybuilding line
Yeah,
of
right.
werewolf.
yeah,
Wait a minute,
raw
what? Wait a
steak
minute.
and raw eggs that she just drank out of a glass.
Yeah.
Why is
Yeah.
it?
Five
Okay, wait a
dozen
minute.
eggs.
I have a question. Why is it because this person is a werewolf should they be denied flavor that comes from properly cooking a steak? Come
you
on,
could
people.
salt and pepper a raw steak.
I mean, that still doesn't taste great.
tartare.
I've never eaten.
Yeah, I was
raw
like, maybe
steak.
she's just really into steak tartare.
Right?
Have you ever
That's
thought
a
of that,
thing.
Jan?
I mean, I'd
Well,
have
you
to
learn.
imagine werewolves get a lot of flavor out of blood.
Yeah.
I probably like the blood flavor. There are countries that have blood popsicles, like where they just eat blood and it's normal. Like
Yeah.
Turkey, I think. Don't quote me on that for sure, but Yeah, people.
Wolfsblood just said, wouldn't that be a were Rocky?
Adrian! Next character, a shifter monk who's basically just Rocky Balboa but a werewolf.
Could say that in Pathfinder. No.
All right. Let's see. Zeal Zaddy had a great question. This is totally changing gears. What is the most alien, as in least humanoid, of an NPC or character that you've ever played, and how was the experience?
Oh. That's a good one.
It is a good one. We have a lot of good questions lined up. I'm excited.
Here for it.
Okay, I had a bad guy. He was like a lich's henchman, but it was literally a sentient pile of trash.
He was the trash man?
Yeah, it was like, isn't there a Muppet for that? That was,
Oh, Oscar
Yeah.
the Grouch.
No.
No.
Oscar lives
No,
in the
it's the curveball on that question was the word Muppet. It's technically a Muppet, but it's Fraggle, and it's the Great
yes,
Trash.
Fraggle. Thank you.
Oh.
Think of
Yeah,
the Great
it was-
Trash Heap.
It was just
Nice
like the
bowl.
big trash heap. But I didn't, I didn't get too deep into the character because that could be a little sticky. I wasn't using a method acting. Play the trash
Probably a
pile.
good choice.
Come to the table just completely covered in trash.
Right.
Oh, no.
It's like some guys.
I'm the trash man. I get up there and I eat garbage. I think for me, it's kind of being having those NPCs that are all knowing and just omnipotent, but also just being absolutely just bat crazy for the fun of it. And so I remember I was running a Monsters of the Week campaign, and I was hyping up how much that the players need to, like, for some reason they had to go into the woods and they had to meet Baba Yaga, because Baba Yaga was living in these woods in the mountains. And as tribute, they had to bring a giant roll of cheddar cheese. And as it turns out, Baba Yaga, the reason why they brought the cheese is she needed it for the fondue because she was watching the Packers play on her interdimensional TV.
Okay,
And you
that's
just-
baller.
Yeah, no, like
That
she
is baller.
was all knowing, all powerful. She's like, nah, I'm gonna. She turned her chicken's hut into like a treehouse. She has a little servant named Jess, who's basically like looks like a little flea man from Castlevania, and all he says is yes to no matter what. And no, she's just living her comfy, like cozy grandma life. Has interdimensional satellite dish and just watches the Packers play. I was like, why? I was like, I don't know, because I thought it was funny.
I'm trying to decide. So I haven't played this character yet, but I feel like it's the most interesting answer I can give. But I'm planning on playing a changeling, and like something I'm like my husband makes fun of me because I have all these like deep questions like about the character before I make them, and he's just like, I want to be a rock guy, and then he just rolls. But I'm like, okay, I want to be a changeling, and I'm like, okay, well, like, what does gender identity even look like to a changeling? Like, would they identify as a he or a she? Would that even apply to them, like in their culture? Or, like, how would that be? How would they experience the world? And I'm just sitting there thinking about that and explaining that to him. So there's that element of, because I was originally leaning into like, oh well, she's a changeling and like she's a she because I identify as a she, so that's my default. And then I thought to myself, well, I mean, if she's a changeling, then like do they like have a natural gender, and like if so, like do they identify as that? And so I've had a lot of questions like that kind of rolling around in my head, just trying to, especially since that's a debated topic right now. I'm thinking about that a lot. That's it.
No, I mean that's real. I think that's also kind of really cool about fantasy in general, where you can have. Well, I mean, like even more so, like, you can kind of open up this topic, because, like, even for changelings, or even just for creatures that just have the natural ability to just change their shape, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, or like even just kind of with magic, like I guess kind of pulling it back to Shan with the Book of Erotic Fantasies. While they have like the other stuff that was in there, sure, don't worry, I have a point for this. One of the other and very interesting things, and kind of getting back into how we were talking about magical items, is that they in particular had something called I think it was a garter of sex change, where it was essentially basically like a dwarven belt, but you basically were able to just change your gender over time. And I think that's also really cool when you can think about, like, nah, man, like, there's magic, right? Like, if you have a dragon that is able to cast a 9th level fireball and has the ability to change into whatever they want, gender kind of goes out the window at some point, right? Like, at some point or another, like, the binary that we bring our small mortal comprehension just flies out the window.
Yeah, and like going off of that, it like begs the, if you're a changeling and something that can shift all the time into whatever you want, like, what is your true identity?
Yeah,
I think that's a really, at least, thought-provoking idea to think about. And I agree that it's cool that we have these fantasy worlds, and I mean tabletop in general should like sort of safely explore these ideas and help us experience new viewpoints.
Yeah, because I know for my campaign in Agents of Boo, we actually have a changeling rogue assassin who identifies as they, them, but, you know, they decide, you know, like, in-game, anytime that they wake up, they decide, like, you know, I asked them, like, hey, what does, you know, Pax look like today? And they, you know, describe what Pax looks like today, or, like, what are their assigned, you know, pronouns? How are they feeling today? And that's always, like, a fun conversation to see, like, what our player Natalie just kind of comes up with, and it's, you know, it's great.
So going back to the original question.
Sorry.
Which is fine. No, this is great. But going back to the original question, I did a one-shot, I think it was last year sometime. You guys have all seen Spaceballs?
Yes.
You're all familiar with Pizza the Hut?
Yeah.
I played a character like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Her name was Charity because it was a charity stream, and she wore marinara lipstick, like marinara sauce lipstick.
Delicious.
It was amazing. It
Awesome.
was just a ton of fun, also because I got to play with the two Tilstra brothers, and oh my god, they all played siblings, and it was amazing. It was like the best time ever.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's pepperoni.
Right? Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah,
They
what
were like
all
a
the
mafia
toppings?
family. They were getting ready to take over the mafia family from their dad, and he like sent them to go and try to throw this whole charity event, and you know, like, yeah, it was really funny.
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. I'm gonna give you one big slice for $1.
Yep, that was good.
So you mentioned changelings, Tiffany. So I wanted to bring up the other type of changeling. I play a lot of White Wolf games, or I used to at least. So one of my favorites is Changeling the Lost, and I would say that one of the most alien characters I ever played. He was a volcano. Like when he had gotten pulled.
That's pretty
Okay,
neat.
so a very, very quick sort of thing on how Changeling the Lost works. You are a human who gets pulled into the Fae realm and then changed somehow by the Fae to like somehow entertain them, whatever by you know, whatever means you and your GM and your safety tools can bear, right? And for my character, he had gotten pulled in to the Fae realm and turned into a volcano. And so when he came out, when he finally freed himself and made it back through what's known as the hedge, which is sort of the barrier between our world and the Fae world, he, in his like Fae form, he looked like a normal black person, but you could see seams of what looked like magma running through his skin, depending on like the light in the room.
Oh wow!
And depending on how angry he got. He was also Summer Court, and Summer Court is super fighty. So when he got angrier, like he would do things like start changing the temperature in the room unconsciously, because and you would see his veins start to glow brighter. So yeah, that was definitely sort of the most like quote unquote alien character, because in that game also something takes over your life, so no one comes looking for you.
Oh.
So you have to deal with not
change.
only your life having continued on whatever trajectory it was going, but now you are back in the world and you know you're completely different. Yeah, that game is baller for that.
That's really cool. I like that.
That is
Yeah,
Neat.
for anybody who's interested in Changeling the Lost, I would definitely say like trigger warning, but it because it is very much about being like taken and modified, right?
Mhm.
And then what do you do? What do you do after that kind of modification or violation, or however you'd want to put that? But yeah, so trigger warning for very heavy subjects, but if you're up for playing it, it is an amazing game.
In my most recently in our like we're doing a D&D game that's not a part of our podcast. It's for fun right now, but it might turn into a project. And I have this terrible habit of just playing basic pretty people. And so I took that to its natural conclusion, and I got my DM's permission to kind of homebrew the Genesee species, and I turned them into basically walking, living versions of the statue of David. But they were all
Yes!
well, the Earth ones, anyways.
Yes!
They're all born from these like jewel cores as well, so they have this just gem that is in their chest that determines their eye color. But they're all just beautiful walking statue people.
Yes! Stay cut. We love it here. Chiseled the way God intended.
Exactly. You see, you know what I'm
At least
talking
the Greek
about.
ones.
Right. Like, man, that's so awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh God, I love it. All right, let's see. Did everybody get a chance to answer that question that wanted to? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. We're going to go back to dice for this question real quick, because Starry Night would like to know, what is your opinion on stepping on a Lego or a D4? For Starry Night, neither hurt at all. I have stepped on both, and I would like to disagree.
Yeah, Starry, you might want to get your feet checked, or like send them to the military, because apparently you got like industrial grade armor on your feet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have stepped on both.
Yeah, both are absolute death.
Both are terrible. I think the D4 was slightly worse because I got the D4 that landed on the floor was one that had one of those pointy edges. And so it was like, and I was stepping on Legos.
Yep.
And like it was at least a flatter edge, but like the D4 is just like boom, and I was like, oh. So,
Yeah. The Lego has more surface area. The D,
yeah,
the
just
D4
spread the
has
paint around.
Yeah. The Lego, you can spread the paint around. The D4 just goes straight through your
Right.
face.
That's why the Lego doesn't hurt quite as much.
Yeah.
Unless it's like one of those tiny little like 2 ones. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, those
Yeah.
are
Yeah. Oh, 2x1.
I would definitely vote for the D4. Although I'll give shout out to, I have a metal D8 now, and it's not doesn't have those rounded edges. It's like it's so sharp I could shave with it.
Oh God.
So that would be really bad too. Be a close second.
I'm almost afraid to say it because I know once I say it on this stream, I'm going to stand up and step on one, but I've never stepped on either.
Both just magically
And-
appeared on the floor behind you. It's weird.
right.
I'm going to
Teleports
stand up and like,
behind
that
you.
was a great stream.
Hospital.
The only
gonna
thing
attack
I think
you,
I've
but-
ever stepped on that was worse than either of those is I stepped on one of those sprinklers that like normally gets pulled back into the ground, and somehow like it never did, and I was running through a ball field and like right up the side of my foot, and I was maybe 10, and I still have the scar to prove it.
Oh,
Yeah, I've literally, I do sewing, so I've literally stepped on pins. And the thing about that is that it's just a really sharp pain, but it stops pretty quickly, at least for me. But when you step on like a D4 or a Lego, like the throbbing stays, so I feel like they're worse.
Yeah.
because it stays with the pain. The pain lingers.
Yeah.
No, those-
Yeah, dice I just pulled out. You think I want to step on one of those? No. No.
Yeah, we
Why?
saw that.
Ow.
This is why anytime I play, always have some sort of shoes on. Never always some
Yeah.
sort of shoes, because you never know. The dice can smell your fear and they want you.
Smell your fear. Oh my god.
The one you want is, the one that always hurts the worst is the one that you step on by surprise, right? So
Yes!
what you do is the moment you drop it, you just immediately go look for it. You just don't stop whatever you're doing. You go grab it right now.
Find it.
Exactly, because if you don't, it's just the equivalent of like of Caesar getting stabbed by Brutus. Just a pure and utter betrayal.
Yeah.
It's too dicey.
It's who I say.
Okay, so follow-up question in chat. If you step on a D4, do you check to see what you rolled?
Oh yeah.
No, what?
Oh, absolutely.
What? No, ow, why?
No, I did not check. I checked my foot to see if it was bleeding. Actually,
Exactly.
Well, but here's why you check though. You check to see how bad the wound was. If you got a 1, you're fine. If you got a 4, you gotta go to the hospital.
Are you kidding me?
That's why you
the dice
always-
that I just showed.
Right? Yeah.
No.
Always check your dice. ACD. Always check dice.
It's probably imprinted in the bottom of your foot, so you
Yeah, probably.
for the scar to remind you.
Right?
Oh my god.
Remember this day that you always rolled a 4.
You just have to like have the date tattooed on the bottom of your foot with it.
Yes.
To commemorate.
Right?
I'm doing more really
Memorialized to
painful
honor.
stuff to my feet. Y'all are masochists. Like, what in the world? Yeah, I stepped on a D4, then I went and got a tattoo. Like, what kind of weirdness?
Well, because your foot is already in pain from stepping on the D4. Like, what's a little tattoo needle?
Yeah.
I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
what's a little bit of like
Might as well take
repeatedly
advantage
stabbed
of
by a
it.
hot
Yeah.
needle?
Oh my god.
What's a little bit of pain?
There's someone with like 3 tattoos. Like, tattoo. Yeah, you're right. Tattoo needles don't actually hurt. But
Yeah.
I'm just imagining doing that anywhere near like a freaking owl from a D4, and I want to throw myself off a bridge even mentioning it. So no. No.
That's right. I'm good, fam. Nah.
You just all start crying. Just huddle together and start crying.
Oh god. Oh boy. I once stepped on a hot metal D4. I have concerns.
Why? Yeah.
why was it hot?
Why did
That was
why is
that
it
was from
heated?
Starry Night in chat.
Was
And like
it,
I
like,
have
in the
legit
sun?
concerns now.
Yo, what the hell are you doing with your D4? Like, what? Okay, you don't put them in the oven, people. Come on.
I mean, it could
Yeah.
have been in the sun and been like a metal dye, and it heated up that way, but
But
that's very specific.
That's like
It
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
mean,
one of those
you
ice
know how we were
cruncher
saying that it
people.
like, you know, would imprint on the bottom. Now you legit have a brand of whatever you rolled.
yeah. That's like
Yeah,
something
I don't-
like levels of Home Alone, but if Macaulay Culkin's character was like really into Dungeons and Dragons,
Absolutely. Yikes. Yikes.
right?
I don't want to reverse the classroom, but I think we have some questions for you now.
Right? Yeah,
safe
no,
at
we're
home.
changing up how Tales from the Tavern works now. The second half, we ask questions of chat.
Yes.
First question: are y'all okay?
Do you need a cookie?
Should we call the police?
Right? You should be gone.
If you
Blame
need a
us if you
hot
need help.
If you need a hug, press 1 in chat, please. If you need a hug.
If you need help, press 2 in chat.
Sorry, Nate just typed a 1.
I got a 1.
We got one.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Let's jump on to the next question. Let's see. Dungeon Mr. Ty would like to know: is anyone superstitious enough to believe a character is cursed regardless of the dice? I am not. But
No.
that's because I have no reason for that to be a superstition of mine yet.
That's real. No,
Yeah,
I mean, like
again, I'm afraid to say this on the stream, but I'm not superstitious. And then 10 ladders appeared behind me.
right.
And
10 black cats.
I heard of black cats. I'm not.
That's good
Sorry,
luck to have
you
10
go
black
first.
kitties.
Any black kitties is good luck, in my opinion.
I'm generally not, but I have noticed that whenever I make an NPC that's supposed to be like really awesome and cool and like supposed to be threatening, I'm like rolling ones.
Yeah.
Twos. And it's like, yeah, I set her up good. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. Like they're gonna fear the Crimson Lady and they're gonna fear Kendra the Wolf Queen, and they're just like, you know, these chumps, whatever, you know, and Kendra's that sounds annoying, and just leave it to your PCs to make fun of your NPCs.
I mean, that's always how that works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, look at this chump over here.
Yeah, I was
No,
like,
you're
yeah, I'm gonna
something,
roll
bro.
some damage. Like, literally all ones and twos. I'm just like, okay, cool. This is fine.
I was
I think
like,
I'm gonna
"Dice
start
are-"
doing that, like, flat damage thing that was mentioned. I
There you go.
think I'll start
Dice-
doing that.
I don't believe. The very least for me, I'm gonna also say this. I don't think character sheets can be cursed. I feel like dice can be definitely cursed for sure, but like, unless you are like doing something heavily major with the character sheet, I think it's going to be okay. Like if there's other stuff like you feel as though that your character sheet is cursed, man, you got bigger problems than that.
Yeah. I never thought that a character was. I don't think it's possible for a character to be permanently cursed unless you're Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
he rolled
yeah.
a 20.
But I've had whole sessions where it's like, okay, no matter who I'm rolling for, I'm rolling
It's
bad.
just bad.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
whole sessions where I can't roll anything under a 15, everything's good. But then it's just for that session, so.
Yeah. I definitely have dice that roll consistently worse, but I think that's just because, like, it's the imperfection of the
It
dice.
could be, yeah.
Or that they're just cursed. Don't bring science and don't bring logic into this.
We don't need
They're cursed.
logic here. They just stay
We
in
don't
the
need
dice
logic
jail
in
all
here.
the time.
Exactly.
You need a nap.
See, I'm actually a practicing pagan and have been for many years. I don't even want to say the number without making myself sad. But one of the things I very specifically do at my tables is I do sort of grounding and cleansing energy work at my tables, which means anybody who's coming to the table with hot dice, nope. And anybody who's coming to the table with cursed dice, nope. So I tend to get a nice even distribution of, oh God, why did I roll that? And oh God, Shan, why are you even playing? You've rolled 23s in a row, and like we're stomping through all your bad guys. It's like, I don't know, dude. Like,
The dice tell their own story,
It's true.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whether you want them to or not.
All right. Well, this is probably a great place to pause and take a break. So we are going to do that. And we'll be back 5-10 minutes ish, barring any more technical issues. And we will get to more questions after the break. So stick around and we will see you very shortly. Hi friends, this is Luna from Tales from the Tavern. Coming up on Sunday, June 5th, we'll be back with the Season 4 premiere of Tales from the Tavern, doing a fundraiser for World Central Kitchen. If you're not familiar with World Central Kitchen, they're a humanitarian relief organization providing meals and assistance with food to people all over the globe. Most notably, right now, they're helping serve Ukrainian refugees who are currently displaced. So come check out me and 5 guests as we try spicy hot sauces from all over the world to raise money for this fantastic organization. See you then. I can't even, you guys. We have had more tech issues tonight than we know what to do with. So
We've really brought the chaos. To you.
Chaos.
The gremlins are here.
Chaos.
All right. Well, we're going to dive right back in with some of the questions that we had from before. So let's see. The next question that we had comes from Gum, and Gum would like to know, and I actually think this is a really good question because I see a lot of debate about this. Do you think in-game pets should have protected status at the table?
Oh, unless they're a familiar, or unless they have an item that I have given, or that they no. Because if I will say this. So I don't want to be a cruel, sadistic dungeon master, but if they want to have them as a pet, purely for aesthetic purposes, that's fine. If they want them to start interacting with the world to help them in combat, no. Because unless you have it as a familiar, or unless you want to have it as a pet that will be able to help you in combat, they're gonna attack it. Like, I know that's gonna sound new to me to say, but like, no, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah, this came up on Mike Shea's Sly Flourish show, and that's exactly the answer he gave. So bravo. But yeah, that was the idea. If the pet is going to interact, especially in combat, then yeah, it's in danger. And if one of my players is out there, Dave, sorry about your wolf.
Just give him a cake. Hey, sorry about the wolf.
Yeah. Now I have a little iffy situation because I have a character who has a pet, I don't know, a hawk or something like that. Not a combatant, but he does go out and do on spy missions. So then it's like, oh, okay, that's a little iffy. There's a gray area there.
No, that's real. I know. Sorry, I'll give other people to talk. I swear. But I know for me, for my table, because in the homebrew world, where like magic and technology are kind of like, essentially like synchronized with each other. That what I actually do is I'd be like, hey, if you all don't want this creature, if you don't want your pet to die, go get them a what is it? What did I call it as? A emotional support familiar harness. Because basically, legit, it's in any time you put it on your pet, they have to attune to it, but they are now considered a familiar. So that means even if you just can resummon them. They don't change shape, but like, congratulations, you now have a familiar now. So now that allows you to do other stuff. Also, like, emotional support familiars.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like in agreement with everything that everybody said. I approach it slightly differently, where it's like your little animal, if it's smaller, is probably not going to be the biggest target for things. So they're like half protected, but there comes a time where, as GM, I do that thing. I ask the player the question that every player dreads hearing, and it's, "Are you sure you want to do that?"
Mm-hmm. Are you sure?
And that's when you know that pet might be in danger.
See, I pretty much agree with the approach of like, if it's an aesthetic thing, then like that they just kind of have and is adorable, then yeah. But then yeah, they're like a protected thing. But if they're going to be utilized in combat, then they need to be treated like any other creature in combat. And then there's also just like the element of the table. Like, you gotta know who you're DMing for, and I can talk about that a lot, but I'm not gonna just I'm not gonna, if I know it's gonna cause like distress at my table, I'm not gonna just straight up murder their pets. But if there's gonna be a dangerous situation, I will say, if you do this, this will threaten your animal, and then you want to give them like a heads up, because if you just kind of yank the rug out from them, or there's no like logic path to like this will injure my animal, then your player's gonna feel kind of betrayed and they won't like that. So as long as you tell them things like this could injure your animal, or like that could threaten them, or then it's fine.
Yeah. You can bring Sprinkles the Weasel on you on your fun campaign, but when the minute you have to dive underwater, what are you doing with Sprinkles the Weasel?
Yeah. That's sort of my thought process, is like, as long as people know that something could happen, then everything's on the table at that point. So
You just gotta clue them into it.
Yeah.
So in the latest Paizo release, Book of the Dead, it should be out a couple days. I think 27th. One of the undead things you can get, because it's Book of the Dead, but it's all a bunch of undead options for either fighting undead or playing undead or whatever. But one of the options you can get is, I think it's like Long Lost Friend or something like that, and it comes back to you as like a familiar of your like dead pet, and it can do stuff like it has like ghost immunities, but it can do like a bunch of cool stuff because it's your pet from, like, let's say you were a ranger and you sent out your wolf and your wolf got hurt and died, and, oh no, and then your wolf comes back as a ghost wolf. You're just like,
I saw this movie.
Cemetery, but the
Pet
good
Cemetery.
ending. Yeah, but the good ending.
That's neat.
I think
I love it.
MCDM, Matt Colville's company, just released a new character subclass that involved this pet thing.
That sounds about right. They do amazing work.
But that was beyond pets. Because your wolf could actually do damage, and he got like feats. I think, I don't know. I used to for a while. I taught D&D, quote unquote, at an online school to teenagers, and I had one group that thought animal handling was a skill where you could just make pets. They would be like, yeah, that quest is nice, but I'm gonna go look for a squirrel or a raccoon, and then pretty soon it was like a Disney movie with just a trail of pets afterwards.
Be free, my little army. Be
They were
free.
11. I couldn't. What was I gonna, sacrifice one of the raccoons to teach them a lesson? They were 11 years old.
The hills aren't alive with the sound of music. The hills are alive with the sounds of squirrels.
Oh no.
yeah, I just popped open the book, and it's a picture of like a basset hound, but it's slightly see-through, so you can see like his little bones. And you're just like, oh my god, I love this thing. I want this to be my best friend. Oh my god, please.
Oh god. Yeah. Okay, moving on.
I'll just sob.
Cranky Old Wizard would like to know, when you come up with an adventure or campaign, what do you start with? A map, a monster, a treasure, ... question mark.
I start with the theme, and in particular, like, what am I feeling today? Like, I know, like, for the podcast stuff, I wanted to do something different, and I really enjoy playing in Shadowrun and, like, also playing in Eberron. And I don't know, like, I just kind of thought to myself, like, you know what sounds cool? Hellboy meets The Witcher meets the Men in Black, set in a Magitech diesel punk world where, like, the gods are gone, the mortals have essentially mined their bodies for resources, and the old blood of the gods is now fuel for the new arcane machines. And congratulations, you're now playing, like, the magical version of the FBI. Let's do this. Because I just need, like, that's the thing, right? Like, that is the core of what makes a campaign a campaign. It's that general aesthetic, that theme that kind of ties everything together. And you can have, like, all the other, moral lessons or moral implications of the theme later. But that's like the key thing that you need to figure out how you're going to emulate.
Yeah.
You gotta figure out your style.
It's usually just a single idea. Like, and I write a lot of one-shots. So, in fact, the one-shot I just wrote, that's basically what I did, was a mashup. So you play a character inspired by a sitcom that is a castaway on a 3-hour tour, except the island you're marooned on is the island of the lost, with living dinosaurs and jelly-eyed lizard people, and so that was just like the thing. After that, the thing writes itself.
Yeah. Just don't be afraid to be weird.
Yeah, well, maybe you should, because I think I went over the deep end in that one. But
No, that's good. If it's weird, that means it's working.
Yeah.
My approach for Dungeon Damsels initially, and I don't actually recommend this. My approach is different now because I've just learned other approaches that are better. But I had kind of just the theme of bonds was what I wanted to go with, where they interact with the world through their NPCs, and like the more they bond with the NPCs, the more they can interact with or influence the world. Which is honestly, I mean, that's a tall order, and it has been. So I don't recommend doing that since it's a bit abstract and arbitrary for people. But I found a lot of success in a system called Decuma, which basically it has the tarot card deck, and each card has 2 questions assigned to it. And what you can do is you have your session 0, and you pull the cards, and there are questions that are associated with, like, what's the setting like, and then what are the relationships like, and like overall campaign. And I like doing that because then I can say, like, okay, you're essentially building the world together, and then the players themselves are more ingrained and what's the right word? Invested into it because they helped build it, and they helped build their own relationships with each other as well as how they are integrated into the world. So it solves a lot of problems that I have run into. But even with that, I generally have just kind of an idea because I did a one-shot with a group, and they didn't have any, like, no one was like, I want this kind of game. I just said, how do we feel about desert game? Arabian Nights. And they're like, that sounds great. So I just kind of ran with that, and that's how I do things now.
Yeah.
I generally think of a culture that I want to explore and expand on.
No, that's awesome.
I've got 2 answers for this, if you'll indulge me. Because the first one is when I do more traditional DMing and GMing, I usually start with an atmosphere, kind of like the themes, the images in my head, like a walk through a snowy wood. And then like I plot that in my head. I'm like, is that scary? How does that feel? And I go from there. And characters start to develop from that atmosphere that I've created. Now, the second answer is, for about 5 months now, on our podcast, we've done everything completely at random, where we don't prepare anything at all. And it really complicates that. The way we do that kind of magic trick is we break everything down into scenes. And so we don't plan adventures, we plan scenes. And the way we get a scene at random is we get an action and a subject, and that can be anything as simple as like befriend animals, or it could be something so complicated and vague as oppress gluttony. And then it's between the 2 of us to logic out what that means and then improvise a story based on those 2 words and several questions that we ask about it. And I'm not advocating for other people putting themselves through that kind of chaos, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fun, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
That sounds fun.
It's a blast.
Some days you walk through the woods being mindful and letting the muse speak to you, and other days you just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what's...
That's basically the Jeffrey approach.
Yeah.
So I tend to start my games with a very simple question: which oppressors can I have fun annihilating today?
Yeah!
And then so
Love it.
I have this one Wolfenstein The New Order based game that I'm cooking up that's all about giving like resistant cells superpowers. And it's going to be a mix of like the boys scale violence and, you know, getting the kicked crap at Nazis. So to me, that was the premise that I kind of started with, is like, all right, I need to, I'm sick of watching, you know, oppressors get to lulls around on Twitter. So what do? Let's make a game where you just get to explode Nazis with superpowers. Cool, let's do that. And that's been sort of the running theme.
I'm so here for this. If you need a playtester, I'm
Yeah.
totally down 100%.
It's Savage Worlds, so the system is fine. I just need to sit down and actually, like... I have so many people who are like, Shan, just run that fucking game, I'd play it. And I'm like, yeah, but time is a flat circle and I don't have any of it. So time is a pie and I don't have any pieces.
Right.
Time is an illusion and I ain't no magician.
I just don't.
That's also real.
Oh wait, because you don't GM yet.
Hey, that actually no. So, so I picked up a game over the weekend, and like, for the most part, the idea of GMing terrifies the ever-living crap out of me, and I picked up the game 10 Candles at PAX, which I've heard really amazing things about, and I dove into reading the book. The book is like 80 pages long, and I dove into reading the book the night that I got it, and I am so freaking hooked on it. Like, I am 100% sold. I'm like, I have to make this happen. How am I going to run this game? Like, I am all in. So, it will be happening soon. It will not be streamed. But it will definitely be happening because I am so excited to play this game.
Don't worry, y'all. We'll put it on YouTube. It's fine.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Guerrilla recording.
Exactly.
Guerrilla podcast.
Well, it will be a really dark recording because as
Right.
somebody who's played that
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
you played in the dark.
You play it in the dark.
Really? Okay. I never knew because I have no idea what 10 Candles is. Or
So the
anything
concept
about.
is
Yeah.
basically you play by the light of 10 candles, and like 10 tea light candles. So you start lighting them as you do character creation, which is part of the whole thing. As the candles go out, whether naturally or by failed roll that causes a candle to go out or something like that, that's how the story progresses. And when you hit the last candle, that's when you start the final scene of the whole game. And basically it's like the whole point, they literally tell you at the start of the game, your character will die. Like, you go into this game knowing your character is going to die, and the power switches from the players to the GM as the game continues. It's this really cool looking mechanic. I literally bought dice just to run this game.
That sounds interesting.
It's really, really fascinating.
I'm currently looking at it. I'm like, ooh.
So wait a minute. Hold up. I have a question.
Okay.
So the game that you are unambiguously excited to run, and I'm talking like, oh my god, I literally bought dice for this, is the game where you get to kill everybody?
Yes!
No, that sounds legit to me.
Y'all, oh my god, this,
It's weird.
I see you.
That reminds me almost. I can't remember what it is in Japanese, but I think it's like I think it's the Tales of a Thousand Nights or something. Like I forgot what it was in particular, but it was that whole concept where like people tell scary stories by candlelight until like the candle keeps getting lower and lower and it gets darker and darker. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a very interesting idea. Like, I guess, I don't know, like that, my brain's just kind of fried right now.
100 candles.
Yeah, at 100 candles. You play it with 100 candles.
There you go.
I would love to add about 10 candles a little, like, just a beautiful little atmospheric thing about it.
Yeah.
Is you write all the information about things on little postcards,
Yes.
and as the game progresses, you burn them.
Yes.
You light them on fire.
It is so
and
cool.
Yeah, this game is a mood.
And the other thing too is you might go into it thinking like this is what my character is going to be. No, that's not how it works. You have to write a virtue and a vice on a card, and you pass one to the player on your left and you pass one to the player on your right, and so you then get the cards from those other people, and that's your character.
It is such an experience. I can't recommend it enough.
I mean, you had me at Spooky Times and Arson, so.
Yeah, I was like, I'm here for this.
And then the other part of it too, so the enemy, for lack of a better word, you don't know who they are. They're literally called them. And so when you're when you're doing the character creation piece, you do the vice and the virtue. You pass those cards off, and then the last one that you come up with is basically your break. What is your breaking point? What happens when your character breaks? And the GM doesn't get involved in writing out the virtue and the vice, but they do get involved in writing the breaking point. So what's interesting is when they do that, it's the same thing. They write something on a card, and you pass it off to another player. So when you do that, one of the characters in the group knows something about them, and they know something about one of the characters, which is really kind of fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm like, when I read that, I was just like, this sounds so cool. And super exciting side note, I was able to get a copy of it for giveaway for the 100th episode in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited. Woo. So yeah, apparently well, not apparently, I know he was there. I met him. I talked to him. The author of the system was at PAX East. And so I was able to have a great conversation with him. I think we're going to get him on an episode of Tales down the road. But from what I have heard, this is going to be like the last run of actual publication of physical copies of the book. So so I'm really excited because now we'll have a copy to actually give away in a couple weeks. So
nice.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
My only potential frustration with that game, knowing me as a person, is I'm really, really into big damn hero storytelling.
Yeah.
Like this is completely just a Shan thing. I like put it like this. My favorite RPG ever is Exalted. So going from something like Exalted to something like 10 Candles would be like, okay, this is rough. What do you mean I can't find a way to win? No, you can't find a way to win. Oh.
Well,
no.
You can find the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean I can't punch Cthulhu in the face?
Yeah, actually, real talk, that is what Exalted is built to do.
The idea, though, is that whatever your characters accomplish is supposed to instill hope for whoever is still out there. So it's like, you won't survive, but your mission is basically to provide hope for somebody else.
Gotcha.
Oh no, and I get that from a design perspective and from a you are telling me about a cool game perspective. I am speaking from a Shan perspective of like
Yeah.
No, I will not go softly into the night. I will rage.
Exactly,
Rage the silent
right.
light.
And that's
You will
the
know
kinda-
the fear of God, and it shall be upon my name.
If
Yeah.
anybody out there's interested, there's a few live plays on YouTube. And
Oh, okay.
MCDM did a video, I don't know when, months ago or something, where they just basically had somebody talking or explaining the whole thing for like half an hour. So
So
Okay.
I do have a question about like when you finally get to like the last thingamadoodle or last candle or whatever. How in the hell are y'all seeing?
I was just about
Well, that's
to
kind of the
ask
point, right? You're like telling a
No!
story in the dark and it gets creepier.
I gotta read it. What am I- I
Well,
gotta
There's
there's
read-
nothing
nothing
to
really
read.
to read, though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They all call
Okay,
Bill
that's-
Bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, like they
Yeah.
all burn the note cards.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Wait,
all,
yeah, that's
your whole character sheet is literally written on like 5 note cards.
hmm Yeah.
I hope
So-
you don't forget things while you're burning them because.
Well, no, because once you've used it, it's gone.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like it doesn't exist.
Yeah. So like
It's
if
been
you're-
exhausted by the story.
Yeah. So if your like let's say your virtue is I don't know, resilience, and you find some way to work that into the story, once you've worked that into the story, you burn the card and it's gone. And you can't you don't use it again.
It sounds like Fire Hazard, the tabletop RPG.
yeah,
Have a fire extinguisher ready on hand.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
The instructions
It's been
actually say to
triple
have a
brick 'cause you
fireproof
can't-
full.
Yeah.
yeah, you have to.
We are not
Yeah.
liable for any
Yeah.
fires. in
Really
this
big
game.
That's all
ass,
in
like-
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here
They
for
know
it.
what they are.
You're
Yeah.
trying to burn the last card and like setting your carpet on fire because you can barely
Yeah.
goddamn see because there's only one goddamn candle lit, and you're just like whoosh, and all of a sudden you can see everything because your goddamn house is on fire.
6 o'clock news. We have a fire started.
Right.
Oh.
This is my favorite type of role playing, burning house role playing. Like what?
Oh.
Hey man, you heard of the satanic panic? Get ready for the arson. Get ready for the arson tabletop.
All those kids are out there burning down their parents' houses playing 10 candles.
Back in my day.
Date lock. Are tabletop art role playing games burning down your house? Can you prevent your own house fire? More
Oh my
attempt.
gosh.
Someone who actually, sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as somebody who remembers the Ricky Lake time period, where everybody was, vampires all of a sudden, but very specifically Vampire the Masquerade vampires. Yeah, that happened more often than you think. Are your kids drinking blood? It's like, oh my god.
More news at 10.
Good God. All right, let's see. All right, another question from Starry Night. You are in the world of your latest D&D campaign. What do you order as a drink in a tavern?
D&D, woo!
Okay, latest campaign.
You feel better?
What did I plan last?
I'm being a wanker, yeah, it's fine. I was gonna give an actual answer.
I know. I would get a dragon claw. It's basically just a white claw, but it has a different color of a dragon's blood. So like red would be more of like a cherry limeade. Blue would be more of like a
Blue raspberry.
blue raspberry. Yeah. And it's just called dragon claw.
There you
instead
go.
of white claw.
So, in the last game I played in was in Zielzadi's Mists of Elixia campaign, and in that campaign he uses the Cantrip Cantina, which was by Underground Oracle Publishing,
Yeah,
and it's really cool. Like
it's really cool.
It's really neat. Like, I don't drink alcohol in real life, so like. It's like drinks. I'm at a loss of their interest, but this made me interested in it because there's just so many things that can happen with the drinks. Like my character, Cameron, got a drink, and she basically had like advantage on insights for like the whole day, and I thought that was really cool. And so I definitely recommend the Cantrip Cantina if you want to spice up your drinks in D&D. Definitely adds a lot of flavor and fun RP.
Haha, flavor.
The last group session I ran ended up in Ravenloft, so I will say my drink will have to be Champagne de la Stomp.
Is that how they say depression in Barovia?
It's one of the, there are actually 3 vineyards in Barovia, and that's one of them.
One of them was run by wizards, I think.
Yep.
My actual answer, where I'm not being a smart aleck, is well, if it's my Exalted versus Worlds of Darkness game, it's probably going to be probably just a hard vodka. no ice, no nothing. Because if you had to see the shenanigans my party got up to, you would understand why that character was like, fine, glug, 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 just like taking the bottle to the face every time.
Oh, that's rough, buddy.
Oh yeah, that game was... It was fun. Oh, it was one of the best games I've ever played, but God, the alcoholism. Just like, wow.
It was strong. Let's see if your liver is stronger.
So I don't drink in real life, but that begs the question, what is the fantasy version of a Shirley Temple? Because that's what I would order.
I mean, those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're delicious.
Fellow teetotaler.
Well, let's see. I mean, considering that it's named after like a 6-year-old actress, probably it'll be named after like a 6-year-old actress in your fantasy world.
Yeah, some
That
bard.
really
Yeah. Or...
Oh yeah, a halfling bard.
Yeah.
Oh, you bring him in like a half. Are we calling the drink the halfling bard?
Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
Although every halfling in your campaign is immediately offended that this is a drink without alcohol named after halflings. Like, are you kidding me?
I feel like someone would embrace that.
There is such a thing as a Shirley Temple Black.
That's true.
So there's got to be an alcoholic version somewhere.
Yeah.
The guy woke up for second breakfast for this?
I'm currently playing Starfinder. I have no idea.
Oh, blue milk, then.
No!
Romulan ale.
No, a Saren Ray Sunshine, or a Saren Ray Sunrise. Probably be orange juice, vodka, and a little bit of... some like weird rare toxin from Eox.
Sure. Sounds
to
great.
give everyone context on what any of that the hell means, Saren Ray is literally goddess of the sun, and in Starfinder, she is the sun because there's a big sun right there. So you start with orange juice, you get some like a vodka-esque spirit, because why not? They still have, like, you can still ferment, like, potatoes and stuff in order to make good vodka. And then Eox is the planet of the undead, so you find the most potentially poisonous thing on that planet.
So
you
what
put it into your drink.
So what you're telling me is, what you put in that drink is rot gut.
Yes.
Rot gut.
I mean, you're from the planet of the undead.
Yeah,
Rot gut.
Yeah,
Damn,
that's
now
it.
I'm
That's
trying
all I
to-
got.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what poison thing from Eox could you even use.
Besides just Eox in general.
Well,
Or like,
there's no plants because the whole planet is pretty much dead, so maybe like animal juice. I don't know.
We're gonna
I'm just
backtrack for a
animal.
second because Starry Night in chat just said a dwarven bard is the alcoholic version of a halfling bard.
I can't argue with I cannot argue with that logic.
So there you go. Now we know.
I love it.
Halflings enjoy food more than beer. Dwarves will be like, nah, man, I'll just drink this. 'Cause I do what is called in my clan a liquid lunch.
Yeah,
Well,
a dwarven bard is just when you pour the halfling bard into whatever drink you're already drinking.
All right. So I'm gonna ask my question since we don't have that much time left. But what is everybody's favorite non-D&D tabletop RPG?
Hands down, it has to be Shadowrun, baby. Shadowrun.
You ain't lying.
Cipher System.
I'm kind of stuck between two. I've played Monster Hearts 2, and I like that for the teenage angst. And I'm a Buffy fan, and that's basically what Monster Hearts 2 is. It uses the Apocalypse system. And I also am a fan of a system that's called Wildover, and it's basically Saturday morning cartoons, the RPG, and it's very precious. I've spoken with the creator. They go by B.
Yep.
And it's just a lot of fun. So if you want like a kid friendly or family friendly, or just something really light, it's meant to have short sessions and just kind of be a fun time. And you use all of your dice. Basically, you have like your attributes that you think of that can be anything. Like, you could just say, I want to have a dice for dad skills. Just being a dad. So anytime you're like, oh, I gotta fix this car, I'm gonna roll my dad dice, or I gotta change this baby's diaper, I'm gonna roll my dad dice, or anything else that you can construe as a dad roll, then you roll the dad dice, and then you just make up other attributes and assign them to the different dice. And so you go down the dice list of D20, D12, 10, 8, 6, 4. And I might have missed one. But, I mean, it's just... I feel like that's a nice little new kind of RPG coming up. So I want to give him a shout out.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Power by Apocalypse games, but the one we play in the podcast right now is also my favorite. It's Dungeon World. It's an oldie but a goodie. And I love it because, it's all about leaving blanks in the story anyway, so it really helps what we're doing. But I would also really like to give a shout out to 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. It's a solo TTRPG.
I've heard that's so good.
If you want to play a solo TTRPG, that's the game. It might make you cry. It actually made me cry, and I was the one writing it. But but it is, the basic premise is you're going to play a vampire, and your vampire must die by the end of the story. But they're going to live 1,000 years at the maximum, and you go through their entire lifespan, like keeping a journal of their life. It's incredible.
Oh,
it's
wow.
a wonderful game.
Ooh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah.
I would say it's kind of a toss-up between two. I would say either the Quest RPG, which is a really nice rules light system. It's written sort of fantasy, but you could probably adapt it into other settings. And Aether and Steamworks, which is a fun little indie system. And I also like oh my god, Savage Worlds.
Savage Worlds is the one.
Savage Worlds is good.
Yeah.
Oh, I played a one-shot of Space 1889, and that was so much fun in the Savage World systems. I don't know if any of you all know, but Space 1889 takes a lot of inspiration from like that old school, like when we had that weird asphyxiation with like life on Mars and whatnot. So it takes like from War of the Worlds, and like a lot of heavy inspiration from one of my favorite book series of all times, the John Carter, like the Princess, I call it the Princess of Mars series by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And it is, like I said, it's like Victorian it's Victorian England, but like, man, you get to go to Mars and like these cool steampunk style spaceships, and you get to like have fights. You meet the green men of Mars, and it's a fun time.
Cool. I'm into it.
All right, I'm going to answer my own question. My general favorite system is Exalted 9 times out of 10. I will shout that from the rooftops. Obviously, right now, I'm definitely in a phase where I'm feeling Pathfinder 2e because, that system, like...
I've heard wonderful things about
I'm
it.
not, like, they're just killing it. The freelancers over there are absolutely killing it. Doing just great stuff. I recommend the Magambia Expanse book to anybody who will read it. Yeah, it's freaking baller. And that and I have a very, very old school love for the World of Darkness games. And that'll never ever go away. We're talking about less Vampire the Masquerade, but like Werewolf the Apocalypse, Mage the Ascension. Those are like two of my absolute favorite games. And if you get a chance to play them, like, you can buy the books on tabletop on Drive-Thru RPG or whatever. You will find great games. They're a little, they've aged. I will say they've aged, but like, if you can like go with the vibe, it's super fun.
Cool.
You named like the 3 games that I've been dying to play my whole life, but haven't been able to.
Yeah.
Wait, which ones? Sorry. Wait, which ones? Sorry.
Oh, Vampire, Mage, and Werewolf. Like those 3 games, I've just been dying to play them, and I've never found the group.
Yeah. I mean, the real talk is that that community is, for as sort of popular as those games have started to become again, that group is still amazingly insular. But like, I don't know, like, I'll do a one-shot or something at some point. So keep an ear out, and I'll invite you, and you can play in a one-shot and get to be angsty vampire.
Oh, finally.
Do I have to? Is glitter going to be included, or do I have to bring my own sparkles?
You can bring more sparkles. It's fine. Yeah,
Hell
bring
yeah.
more.
All right.
Pocket glitter.
Pocket sand.
Just throw it up whenever you like make a statement.
Yep. Glitter bomb.
They're in this is kind of random, but like in France at one point, they would carry basically like powder in their pockets, and I'm pretty sure it was during the Rococo era where they had all their white face paint and everyone was up, and what they would do is if they would throw this powder around themselves as like a flashy thing to do. Anyway, that's just, so there's some history there.
Well,
Okay, I see. So they have to keep their pocket powder next to their nose powder.
Yeah, pocket powder, nose powder.
oh my gosh. Well, that's probably a great place to wrap up for the night. And this is now an
with the
educational
nose
stream, friends. It's okay.
Don't do nose
So
powder,
we
please.
are going to wrap it up here. What I would like to do is have everybody go around again and just tell us again who you are, where we can find you on social media, all that good stuff. We're going to go in the reverse order from when we started. So, Ashan, we're going to start with you this time.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, everybody, if you enjoyed listening to me talk, it's because I know I do, as I keep messing up my words. You can always find us once again on my podcast of Tales of Adventure Agents of Boo. We are on Twitter and Instagram at God, come on, I can do this. I run a podcast. I'm professional. You can find us on our Twitter and Instagram at agents_of_boo. And you can always follow me on my personal Twitter at King Dapper Wombat. That is KINGDAPPRWOMBAT. And my Instagram of Corrado Vermille. That is CURADOVERMILLE.
And if you didn't write it down while it was being spelled out, you're out of luck.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that was, it was a one-time only thing.
One-time thing. Sorry. I was able to get through this anyway. So
I have to tell you, Sean, I meant to mention this before. Your screen name being Wombat always cracks me up because I actually played a one-shot one time where I was a combat wombat.
Yes! The combat wombat.
It was
cannot be contained, cannot be stopped.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was a good one. Well, thank you for
awesome.
coming on. It was really fun to get to have you on, and I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit more. So I would love to chat some more about TTRPG stuff with you. So
Of course, like I said, thank you for allowing me and meeting all of you wonderful people. This is my first time here, and I absolutely loved it. And I would come back if you all would allow me.
I will seriously consider it. No, I'm kidding. No, I appreciate it and would love to have you back anytime. Tiffany.
Hey, I'm. You can find me at Dungeon_Damsels at Twitter, and then Dungeon Damsels at pretty much every other social media site. I'm very introverted, so social media is a bit of a chore for me. So if you want more of an immediate response, you can always go to my husband's Twitter, who is RoboSardi. He does art, and is also in the Dungeon Damsels campaign. So you can, if you want to contact me or watch our stuff, then either of those handles could be how you do that.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on as well. And it was great to get to have you. I know I've seen you around Twitter. I always say this. It's always really nice when I can put a Twitter handle to a face.
Yay!
Yeah.
Well, see me. I didn't know.
It's true. I have.
You noticed me. You really noticed me.
Gamer Senpai knows me.
You like me. You really like me.
You like me.
Well, thank you for coming on. This was a lot of fun. And I, again, would love to have you back in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it was a blast.
Yeah. Shan?
Hear derision that just slid out of Shan, like, damn. Whoa, what did I even do? Oh no, me.
You kept it to a dull roar, and for that I'm very grateful.
We gonna do the after dark session a little bit after this one, y'all. So don't worry.
Oh yeah.
So just so everybody knows, I guess my name is Shan. You can find me on Twitter. Hold on, let me look up my Twitter handle. At Fenrir's Chosen. It should be in the blurb thing that's gonna come up. Mostly, I just sort of hang out. Occasionally, do spicy takes. If you are going to, please do not come to my Twitter expecting things to be gentle, because I talk about what's going on in the world a lot, and I say a lot of, like, I speak my mind real heavily. So if you're thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna follow him and this is gonna be a nice easy follow, it's like, not today, baby, not today. I also try to be funny and try to be enlightening as well, but sometimes, you just gotta roast people alive because people say silly stuff. So there's that. You'll also find my work right now. Primarily, I'm working with Paizo. I'm doing a lot of freelancing for Paizo. So you will find one of my things. It's a Starfinder bounty. That'll be coming out pretty soon. And then called Poacher's Prize. And then there is the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path. Just buy it. I don't even need to tell you anymore. Just go buy it. It's amazing. You'll have fun. If you like Pathfinder 2e at all, the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path is already on your radar. Just go buy it. It's fine.
Just do it. Well, Shan, I appreciate you coming back and hanging out and keeping it, a slightly less spicy than I expected. So, I do appreciate it though, and it was always a pleasure to chat with you. And Jason.
All right. You'll find me pretty much everywhere at Shadowmain, SHADOMAIN. on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, I don't know, everywhere, including shadowmain.com, where I write about TTRPGs, and you can also find everything I've released there on Drive-Thru and DM's Guild and blah, blah, blah. So contact me on Twitter, and I'll probably say something not so funny. But I'll give it a shot.
Well, thank you for coming back on. I am, there we go. We're finally getting everybody back. So
We're coming back.
it's all good.
And
All the
once
boxes
again,
will be
I
fixed
didn't do it.
shortly. It's okay.
It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
See, wait, and all the boxes will be fixed. It happens. It's all good. Jason, thank you for coming back on and hanging out tonight. I super appreciate it. And let's see. Now that Jeffrey is back,
Did I get back just in time?
just in time.
Okay. Good. Wow.
So tell us about, again, who you are and where people can find you online and all of that good stuff.
All right. Well, I'm Jeffrey. You can find me most frequently on the internet at Roll and Tell Pod. I'm one of the co-hosts of the completely at random actual play podcast, where we don't plan anything. We let the dice tell the story. We have new episodes every other Monday, and you can find us on just about any podcatcher you want to listen to us on. It's a great chaotic time, and we tell some really unpredictable stories, so you should check it out.
It's awesome. That's great. I'm excited to check that out. Really looking forward to it. But thank you for coming on. A pleasure to get to chat with you, and would love to chat again in the future. So hopefully we can make that happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And enjoy 10 Candles.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to that. Like, super looking forward to it. Probably more than I should be. But that's okay. It happens. Yes, I'm aware the cameras are messed up again. I'm working on fixing them right now as I speak. But I am Gamer Mom Luna. This has been Tales from the Tavern. We are here just about every Sunday night, and I say that right now only because I'm getting ready to take a couple of weeks off in the next couple of weeks. So we will be here next Sunday night. We will be here the Sunday night after that, and that will be episode number 100 for Tales from the Tavern, which is really, really exciting. Have a really fun group coming on. We're going to have giveaways. We've got, like I said, we've got a copy of 10 Candles. I think we're going to have a gift card to Gemmed Firefly. We have, this is very exciting. You guys all know about my dice catapults, right? I have 2 to give away. I picked them up at PAX.
Nice.
Yes. If you haven't seen them, this is what they look like when they're all put together. It's a dice catapult. It's exactly what it sounds like. Yep.
like it.
They're lots of fun. They're also really good for shooting mini marshmallows at people. I don't know that from experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, and then we'll be taking 3 weeks off, and if you were here during the break, you saw the ad for the World Central Kitchen fundraiser that will be coming up when we come back in June, which is very exciting. We're going to be doing a Tales from the Tavern meets Hot Ones, so the group of us will be eating hot sauces that we have located from all over the globe. I'm really excited and also slightly very terrified of the whole thing. So, yeah, that's it. That's what we got coming up. We're going to go raid. Let's see. We are going to go raid my friend. Let me make sure he's still on. Actually, before I say we're going to go raid him, I should probably do that.
Go raid him to an empty channel.
I've done that before.
Surprise!
So, that's a thing that happens on occasion. Yes, he is. Okay, sweet. We are going to go over and raid Midwest Miniature Guy. So if you are not familiar with him, he paints these incredible minis. So we'll go over there. We'll say hi to him, and hope you all have a great rest of your day, and enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
I should go.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Tales from the Tavern. You can catch this podcast recorded live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/GamerMomLuna. All of our questions come directly from chat, so we never really know what to expect when we go live. If you ever have a question or would like to add something to the conversation, feel free to reach out on Twitter at GamerMomLuna and use the hashtag TFTT. You may just get to hear it answered. Thanks so much.
I should go.